The contract decision that ignited a firestorm of controversy came on June 29, 2025, when LeBron James opted into his $52.6 million player option, confirming his return to the Los Angeles Lakers for the 2025-26 NBA season. On the surface, this appeared to be a routine business move. After all, it guaranteed a massive payday for a 40-year-old player still performing at an elite level. But to ESPN's Stephen H. Smith, it was anything but routine. He saw this as more than a contract. It was a decision that demanded brutal honesty, and he delivered a searing commentary that rocked Lakers Nation. Smith's criticism was deeply rooted in the disastrous 2024-25 Lakers season, which ended in crushing disappointment. Despite fielding a star-studded roster that featured LeBron James and newly acquired superstar Luka Doncic, the Lakers crashed out in the first round of the playoffs, losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves in a 4-1 series defeat. For a team expected to contend for a title, this wasn't just a setback, it was a collapse. And Stephen A. wasn't going to let it slide. In his now infamous takedown, Smith began with a pointed question: what is he playing for? He reminded fans that since LeBron arrived in Los Angeles in 2018, the results have been underwhelming by championship standards. Yes, the Lakers won the 2020 title in the Orlando bubble, but the seasons that followed were riddled with inconsistency, early playoff exits, or missed postseasons entirely. Smith emphasized that after that one title, the Lakers had either failed to make the playoffs or were eliminated in the first round for the next several years. But Stephen A. didn't stop at past failures. He turned his attention toward the future, methodically dismantling the idea that the Lakers were championship contenders. He listed off the growing threats in the Western Conference: the Oklahoma City Thunder, Houston Rockets, Minnesota Timberwolves, Dallas Mavericks, all teams on the rise and not going anywhere. Then he brought up the Denver Nuggets, led by Nikola Jokic, a franchise defined by continuity and postseason success that the Lakers simply couldn't replicate. Smith drove the dagger deeper by comparing the Lakers to their crosstown rivals, the Clippers. While the Lakers dominated the Clippers in the regular season, it was the Clippers who were still competing in the playoffs, heading to a Game 7 while the Lakers were already eliminated. That contrast exposed the Lakers' inability to translate regular season dominance into postseason performance. Smith's most stinging critique, however, came when he questioned LeBron's motivations. Is he really playing to win? He asked. Or is he staying put because he doesn't want to relocate? Is he staying so his other son can join the league? These weren't casual inquiries, they cut to the heart of LeBron's competitive drive. Smith suggested that LeBron's return wasn't fueled by a burning desire to win, but by comfort, convenience, and personal priorities, specifically the future NBA eligibility of his younger son, Bryce James. The reaction from fans and the basketball community was swift and divided. Social media platforms, particularly X, formerly Twitter, erupted with intense debate. Some fans stood by LeBron, but many criticized his decision to take the full $52.6 million salary rather than accept a pay cut to help the team add depth and talent. One user commented, $50 million a year for a 40-year-old? You can tell he doesn't care about winning anymore. Another went even further, calling LeBron's decision selfish. These weren't just hot takes, they reflected a growing perception that LeBron was prioritizing personal gain over team success. Over on Reddit, the discourse was more analytical but no less intense. One user wrote, "This proves he values money more than championships right now, which sucks for his teammates," echoing Smith's line of criticism. Others defended LeBron, suggesting that his financial decisions were strategic. Knowing he wants to become a team owner after retirement, every dollar earned now might be a calculated investment in his future. Meanwhile, roster construction became a major sticking point. Rich Paul, LeBron's longtime agent, maintained that LeBron still wanted to win a championship. But building a championship roster around LeBron and Doncic was nearly impossible given the salary cap constraints. Their combined contracts left little room for adding meaningful contributors. And Luka Doncic's conditioning became another flashpoint. Lakers head coach J.J. Redick addressed the team's overall lack of fitness, saying, "We have a ways to go as a roster, and while some players were in phenomenal shape, others clearly were not." Smith pounced on this too, highlighting Doncic's playoff performance, especially in the closeout game, where he was blown by 9 times on defense, as evidence that the Lakers weren't prepared physically or mentally for the rigors of a championship run. The issue wasn't just individual effort, it was a systemic failure in preparation and execution. Smith placed all of this in historical context, pointing out that since the 2020 bubble championship, LeBron had led the Lakers to just one Western Conference Finals appearance. The other seasons ended in either missed playoffs or first-round exits. For a player of LeBron's caliber, that track record was simply unacceptable. Smith's broader critique wasn't just about stats or wins, it was about legacy. He argued that LeBron had become comfortable with mediocrity, settling for regular season highlights and playoff heartbreaks instead of pushing for the ultimate goal, another title. Exercising his player option, rather than testing free agency for a better opportunity, was proof, at least to Smith, that the hunger was gone. This decision had financial ripple effects as well. The Lakers' new owner, Mark Walter, brought deeper pockets than previous ownership, but even that couldn't override NBA salary cap rules. LeBron's contract made it nearly impossible to sign another star or build out a deeper bench. As Smith's analysis made the rounds, one truth became inescapable: this wasn't just about one season or one decision. It was about whether the LeBron-led Lakers still had a real shot at greatness, or if their window had quietly closed. But beneath Smith's ruthless commentary lay a far more personal undercurrent, a feud between him and LeBron James that had been simmering for months and finally boiled over into public view. The origin of this tension can be traced back to Smith's criticism of LeBron's son, Bronny James, and his readiness for the NBA. When Bronny was drafted 55th overall by the Lakers in 2024, history was made. It marked the first time a father-son duo would play together in the NBA. While many fans and media outlets celebrated the milestone, Smith went in the opposite direction, calling out what he saw as nepotism and a lack of readiness. "My position has always been that should have been the only moment we saw Bronny James in a Lakers uniform this season, because he's not ready," Smith stated. And then he dropped the stats. In 13 games, Bronny was averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds, shooting 1 for 16 from the field and 0 for 7 from 3. The numbers were damning, and Smith wasn't shy about using them. But his most inflammatory remarks came when he addressed LeBron directly. "I mean, no disrespect to LeBron on this issue, but we all see what's happening with your son right now. It's kind of hard to watch."